In the vast expanse of the galaxy, humanity was an underdog. The Galactic Council, an alliance of advanced civilizations, had long dismissed Earth as irrelevant, a planet filled with short-lived, impulsive beings who barely understood space travel. When the Korthan Empire began its expansion, humanity was written off as an inevitable casualty. What the galaxy didn't know was that Earth had a secret: its fleet. For decades, humanity had prepared in silence. While Earth's political factions had bickered, a covert alliance of scientists, engineers, and military strategists had worked to develop a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Combining raw ingenuity with stolen alien technology, Earth's ships were designed not to mimic but to innovate. Admiral Elise Terran stood on the bridge of the Vanguard Epic, humanity's flagship. From its sleek design to its adaptive armor, the Vanguard Epic embodied the philosophy of Earth's fleet: innovation over imitation. The ship was bristling with technology no other species could replicate: quantum weave plating that absorbed energy attacks, nano-drone repair swarms, and an advanced AI capable of real-time strategic analysis. "All systems online, Admiral," said Commander Lucas Rinn, her second-in-command. "The Korthans are moving into position near Jupiter." Elise nodded, her sharp eyes scanning the tactical display. The Korthan fleet was enormous, its capital ships dwarfing anything humanity had built. But size, she knew, was a poor measure of effectiveness. "They think their brute force will crush us," she said. "Let's show them what human ingenuity can do." The Korthan fleet advanced, a wall of gleaming warships that eclipsed Jupiter's swirling storms. On board the Iron Fist, Korthan warlord Myrax sneered at the display of Earth's fleet. "Primitive," he growled. "Their ships are outnumbered and outmatched. Crush them and move on to Earth." Korthan ships opened fire, plasma beams streaking toward humanity's fleet. The assault was relentless, and from a distance, it appeared Earth's ships were being overwhelmed. But what seemed like chaos was part of a carefully orchestrated plan. The Vanguard Epoch led the fleet in a series of rapid, unpredictable maneuvers. Using their experimental gravitic thrusters, the ships darted through the void, dodging the Korthan attacks with precision. Plasma beams that should have annihilated them struck only empty space. "Admiral, the Korthans are adjusting their tactics," Rinn reported. "They'll learn too slowly," Elise replied. "Deploy the countermeasures." Humanity's ships released clouds of holographic decoys, each one mimicking the heat signature and appearance of a real warship. Confused by the sudden influx of targets, the Korthan fleet's formation began to falter. "Fools!" Myrax roared on the Iron Fist. "Find their real ships and destroy them." But the Korthans were unprepared for humanity's next move. From within the chaos, Earth's capital ships fired their Singularity Lances, weapons that created micro-black holes designed to tear through shields and armor. The first lance struck a Korthan battleship, ripping it apart in seconds. The second disabled a dreadnought, leaving it adrift. In moments, the Korthan fleet was thrown into disarray. "Admiral," Rinn said, a note of awe in his voice, "their flagship is pulling back." Elise's eyes narrowed. "Good. That's when we hit them hardest." The Korthans had underestimated Earth's fleet. Now they were about to pay the price. The battlefield became a symphony of chaos as humanity's fleet pressed the attack. The Korthan warships, once an imposing wall of destruction, were now fragmented and disorganized. The holographic decoys continued to sow confusion, while Earth's ships struck with surgical precision. On the bridge of the Vanguard Epoch, Admiral Elise Terran monitored the carnage. "How's the fleet holding up?" she asked, her voice calm despite the intensity of the battle. Commander Lucas Rinn reviewed the reports. "Minimal losses so far, Admiral. The gravitic thrusters and decoys are doing their job. We're outmaneuvering them at every turn." Elise nodded. "Good, but we can't let them regroup. Focus fire on their support ships. Without them, their capital ships will be vulnerable." The Korthan fleet struggled to adapt. Their tactics relied on overwhelming firepower and brute strength, but humanity's ships refused to engage them head-on. Instead, Earth's fleet moved like a swarm of hornets, striking from unexpected angles and disappearing before the Korthans could retaliate. On board the Iron Fist, Warlord Myrax seethed with frustration. "How are these primitives doing this? Their ships should be ash by now." An officer hesitated before responding. Their technology, it's unpredictable. We can't lock onto them, and their weapons are tearing through our shields. Myrax's claws scraped against the armrest of his command chair. Then we adapt. Focus all fire on their flagship. If we destroy it, their fleet will collapse. The Iron Fist turned its massive cannons toward the Vanguard Epoch, firing a barrage of plasma beams. "Admiral, they're targeting us!" Rin shouted, as the bridge shook under the impact of a near miss. "Evasive maneuvers," Elise ordered. "Activate the quantum shield array." The Vanguard Epoch's hull shimmered as the quantum shields absorbed the incoming fire. The energy dissipated harmlessly, leaving the ship unscathed. Elise smirked. "Their tactics are predictable. Let's show them what unpredictability looks like. Deploy the Ghost Runners." The Ghost Runners were humanity's newest innovation. Autonomous drones equipped with advanced cloaking devices and miniaturized singularity lances. As they launched from the Vanguard Epoch, they disappeared from view, leaving only faint distortions in the void. The drones weaved through the chaos, targeting the Korthan support ships with deadly precision. One by one, the cruisers and frigates that provided logistical and tactical support to the Korthan fleet were destroyed. On the Iron Fist, alarms blared as Myrax's officers reported the losses. "Warlord, our support ships are gone. We're losing control of the fleet." Myrax's rage boiled over. "Then we will destroy them ourselves. Prepare the Obliterator Cannon." The Iron Fist's Obliterator Cannon, a weapon capable of obliterating entire planets, began to charge. Energy surged along the length of the massive ship, its glow casting an ominous light across the battlefield. Back on the Vanguard Epoch, Elise's tactical display lit up with warnings. "Admiral," Rin said urgently, "they're charging their Obliterator Cannon." "If it fires, it won't fire," Elise interrupted, her voice steely. "Prepare the Eclipse Strike. Target their cannon directly." The Eclipse Strike was Earth's ultimate weapon, a concentrated beam of energy designed to overload and implode enemy systems. As the Vanguard Epoch aligned itself with the Iron Fist, Elise knew they had only one shot. "Fire!" she ordered. The Eclipse Strike lanced through the void, striking the Obliterator Cannon just as it reached critical charge. The cannon's energy backfired, detonating in a massive explosion that ripped through the Iron Fist. The Korthan flagship was engulfed in flames, its hull breaking apart as secondary explosions cascaded through the ship. On the Vanguard Epoch, the crew erupted in cheers. Rin turned to Elise, a grin breaking through his usual composure. "Admiral, their flagship is down." Elise allowed herself a brief smile. "Good, now let's finish the job." The remaining Korthan ships, leaderless and in disarray, began to retreat. Humanity's fleet pursued them, ensuring they wouldn't regroup to fight another day. For the first time, the galaxy witnessed the full power of human ingenuity, and it was terrifying. The remnants of the Korthan fleet scattered across the void, their once mighty warships reduced to fleeing wrecks. Humanity's fleet held its formation, maintaining a relentless pressure on the retreating enemy. The message was clear. Earth was no longer a world to underestimate. On the bridge of the Vanguard Epoch, Admiral Elise Turan watched the tactical display as the last of the Korthan warships vanished into the darkness. The crew cheered, but Elise's focus remained sharp. "Status on the fleet?" she asked. Commander Lucas Rin scanned his console. "Minimal losses, Admiral. We've taken damage, but nothing critical. The Aurora's blade reports engine failure, but they're still operational." Elise nodded. "Send recovery teams to assist. Let's regroup at the orbital shipyard and begin repairs. This isn't over." News of the victory spread across Earth and its colonies like wildfire. Cities erupted in celebration as footage of the Vanguard Epoch destroying the Iron Fist played on every screen. For the first time, humanity stood united, not in fear but in triumph. In the halls of the Galactic Council, the reaction was far more subdued. Counselor Arval of the Serenith Alliance addressed the assembly, his voice laced with disbelief. "They did what we thought impossible," he said. "The Korthans are retreating, not because of superior technology, but because humanity outsmarted them. This changes everything." Counselor Zena of the Krithian Dominion, a longtime skeptic of humanity, leaned forward, her crystalline features catching the light. "Changes nothing," she hissed. "They got lucky. Next time the Korthans, or another enemy, will come prepared." Counselor Arvel countered, "You misunderstand. Their fleet isn't just a collection of ships. It's a masterpiece of strategy and ingenuity. If we continue to dismiss humanity, it will be at our peril." In the depths of space, the surviving Korthan warships limped back to their homeworld. On board one of the battered cruisers, Warlord Myrax, injured and humiliated, addressed his officers. "Humanity is an anomaly," he growled, his voice filled with venom. "They exploited our arrogance, but we will return. And when we do, they won't have a fleet left to defend them." The officers exchanged uneasy glances, but none dared to speak. Myrax's fury was as dangerous as his ambition, and failure was not an option in his eyes. Back on the Vanguard Epoch, repairs were underway. Admiral Elise Terran stood in the observation deck, watching as engineering crews worked tirelessly to patch the hull and rearm the ship. Dr. Arya Nadim joined her, holding a datapad filled with post-battle analysis. "The fleet performed better than expected," Arya said. "But we still have vulnerabilities. The gravitic thrusters need recalibration, and the decoy systems are running at half capacity." Elise turned to her with a faint smile. "That's why we keep improving." This victory was a message, Doctor. Not just to the Korthans, but to the galaxy. They thought they were dealing with a weak, fractured species. Now they know what we're capable of. Arya raised an eyebrow. "You think the Council will see it that way?" "They don't have a choice," Elise said, her voice steely. "We've proven our power. Now we make sure they never forget it." As the fleet regrouped and Earth celebrated, the galaxy watched with a mix of awe and unease. Humanity's fleet, born from desperation and ingenuity, had changed the balance of power in the stars. The Korthans would return. Others would come, but Earth would be ready. This wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of humanity's rise.